bringing your favorite short bearded funny man with me next time.
I think he's talking about me.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should be more specific.
I don't know.
Speaking
Am
of
I
beards,
the only person that didn't know Sky Rizzy is a pharmaceutical thing?
Probably.
Yeah, I've seen the commercials way more times than I would care for.
I didn't ever put it together that you were the wizard Sky Rizzy, and that it was absolutely a medication. After hearing it on TV, I was like, "That's where it's from." That mofo.
David, it's one of those things that all of the wizards we name after like pharmaceutical stuff like that, just because that's how they sound. Like they always come up with like the goofiest sounding things.
Oh no, they absolutely. I get it. Like that's hilarious.
I was like the Wizard Sky Rizzy or
I
the Wizard Ozempic. Like it's just it's just 1000% wizard names that they're just naming their stuff.
Because it totally sounds like a wizard name, but I was like, it sounds kind of familiar, like vaguely. And then like last week I was watching TV and it came on and I was like, that mother.
Yes. Like I said, the Wizard Guardians. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
I was saying for the next one, you got to go on there as like Spaceman Sky Rizzy.
Spaceman Sky Rizzy. Oh, I'm in there. That'll be the name. Spaceman Sky Rizzy.
Well, with that, we welcome you guys to another episode of Culz Talks Pop Culture. I'm sure you guys recognize everyone on screen, though we do have Aaron, or Johnny Jenks, as you probably know him from some of our other videos popping on today. And then, of course, we got David, we got Nick, Grayson, and Nolan. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing better than it looks like Grayson is. It looks like the Hulk is doing some very inappropriate things behind him there.
He's spilling gravy on his shoes.
That all too late. Hey.
I don't know if I'd put my head there, but hey.
And with that note, give me 1 second. I'll be right here.
Fixing the picture, isn't he?
Most likely.
It's the Sonic trolling all over again. We're gonna troll Grayson to change.
I like to imagine that Grayson, like, as soon as he was like, "Oh, I don't think anybody else will notice. They're not. No, nobody's gonna say it." And then one of the first things, he's like,
"I can still hear."
Well, he's gonna. Yeah, I was gonna change. I was gonna say, well, maybe Harrison Ford won't be so grumpy. But
that's
if he's changing the background, it's over.
Watch as he changes it to that really crappy, like sad Hulk.
Hey, at least you guys can change your backgrounds. I'm just in a car.
So. I'm a little concerned about that, but that's not for me to say.
I'm actually Nolan knows this. This car is made up in a configuration where it's user friendly, meaning there's a mount for my phone and everything, and so we could put cameras everywhere, and I don't have to pay attention to it. I can just keep driving.
Yeah, because you're recording it, right?
Just want to make sure you're not distracted while driving. That's all.
That's pretty much how I roll my life.
Hey, I believe in your ability to multitask.
I'm not saying I don't.
Plus, if he gets in a wreck and dies on camera, think of the views.
It would be a lot of views.
You can't air that.
It's live. We're live. It has to air.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we are live. Now, how long it would stay on air is another thing. I'm sure you two would be.
You'd have to cut away pretty stinking fast.
And then from there, we do like follow-ups where it's like, we go to his funeral, we visit the 1-year marker anniversary, we do a fundraiser against distracted
I would like
driving.
to think that you would all just feel bad and do your own Ghostbuster films, because that's kind of sort of how I got into this to begin with.
Well, hopefully he would still be in them. He would just be the ghost in every episode now.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
That's exactly what I was thinking would happen.
Nolan is required to do my eulogy. It's because he's Nolan. But
I agree.
Excuse me. His name for tonight is The Last Avenger.
Yes.
The last time he was on the show, it was the Wizard Sky Rizzy. Okay?
I would very much would love to put a vote to a new nickname for him, MILF Candy, and he knows the reason behind this. That I think it's more of an appropriate name for him, for more than obvious reasons.
All I know is that if you do die and he does the eulogy, he has to end it with, and honestly, the one thing I'll always remember from Aaron is Bustin' makes you feel good.
Busted makes you walk off. Yeah, that's it. That's the line right there. Yep,
that's the line. Yeah,
it's got to end on that, and everybody will.
And then he walks
fruit at him.
And then he walks out to "Don't You Forget About Me."
Don't you?
Or you know what? Well, hold on.
With the fist in the air. Yeah.
He can say,
yes.
"Bussin' makes me feel good," and he can go, "MILF Candy out," and drop the mic.
Don't you?
I think I was going to stick Nolan.
Cougar Candy.
That one
Cougar
might be sticking around. Damn it.
Cougar Candy sounds like an actual product.
Ooh,
it does. It really does.
So starting out left and right, just
So just so that it's appropriate in any setting, Nolan's new nickname is Cece.
Oh Jesus, I like it, Cece. Cougar Candy.
See, now I want to add that in an episode really bad, but
it's already here.
They have Cougar
Candy. The term Cougar Candy here? Yes, we will 1000% use that. I will.
We've used just about everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, one of you has seen. I don't know if all of you have seen it, but one of you have seen our footage so far. So I'm just waiting on Mike to finish the edit and add the effects and music. But we have a new one ready. Nolan is well aware that I'm pushing really hard to get the next one filmed and then try to get them back to back so we can get these done. But life interferes. We all know how that is.
Right. Well, now that we've gotten the basics out of the way, let's get into the movie. And I was going to start off with pre-production and all the mess it went through, but I feel like
why would we
going through? That's how. But I feel like it will
kind of sums it up. Like
I was going to say, I feel like at some point it's going to come up because there's points in it. I think it's pretty obvious what was happening. So
there was a lot of cast that said that they were upset over that too. That they knew it was going to be kind of contentious.
There's a lot of cast that got even McDonald's toys, and then they were just cut from the second time they refilmed.
Well, that's because due to the way that McDonald's, I found this out, the way that they do the deals for the toys and everything, they can't be moved once they're set of what the toy is going to be. So the toys for this movie came out like last summer.
Yeah, really early.
And it was before a lot of the reshoots, before any of the changes. Crazy. Yeah, I think, and it gave away a lot of stuff. Like, I think that's also partially some of the reason why they didn't. I mean, all right, tell me this. My biggest takeaway from this movie: Red Hulk should not have been in the advertising.
Correct.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I feel like that should have been
left
a reveal. Because people who read the comic books, like we've always known, eventually Ross was going to become Red Hulk. Like we knew it was going to happen, and they would probably have a good idea that that's what the movie was leading to.
But it would have been a nice twist for everybody else,
But not having him on the poster, in the trailer, like none of that. There could have been like a slight tease that it might happen, like show like maybe Harrison Ford, like when his eyes go red at one point, maybe just that in a trailer to kind of.
I think the problem is like realistically nobody was like hyped for this movie, so they kind of
think they got scared and they were like, "Put Hulk in it."
See, and I think it would have been.
It did like a big disservice for the actual film, in my opinion, because if it would have started out like where they don't know how the actual Red Hulk shows up and then they save that for the reveal, that would have gotten way more butts in seats than they're just trying to do like a whole come see your movie. We're giving you kind of what you want. It would have been, I think it would have been a better idea just to save it till the end.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think the advertising should have been more on the fact that we're finally finding out more about the giant fucking celestial in the middle of the ocean. Bring that up.
I'm still kind of questioning that one.
Name drop adamantium, that's fine. Have that in it, and then show some of the political intrigue and stuff. And if you wanted to show a bad guy, show the leader.
Exactly.
That he was going to be back solving, But I think Red Hulk should have been something left as a maybe not so much a surprise, but something that people it is happening, because otherwise the main thing they showed only happened for 5 minutes at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. It also should have been just a cut to black. You hear the Hulk roar in the background, and then it goes Captain America release date, and then that would have been money on end.
And if they had to show him, only show that one tiny clip of him throwing the shield into the ground, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, 1000%.
They could have shown what's his face, Joaquin taking over the Falcon mantle more in the trailer.
Honestly. Yeah, and I would have actually been
funny.
Fine.
They never actually said he was going to be calling himself the Falcon. I was like, well, in the comics, there's Nighthawk. You could have easily done that.
I think it's hilarious.
Several winged heroes that they could have done.
He's an awful choice to be in the Avengers.
Yeah,
It was bad.
New Hawkman?
I don't like that kid at all. Like,
we're not worried about. We're not spoiling anything, or are we spoiling on this one? I should ask that.
No. If you're watching this, you should have seen the goddamn movie.
Spoiler warning.
So, am I the only one?
He already went into a little bit of spoilers already.
Yeah, but I mean, am I the only one that when Bucky came on screen, I was like, "Oh, this is the movie they should have had."
Am I the only one that the whole time was like, if this was going on, why didn't you call Bucky first?
Yes, and them two together, that's buddy cop gold right there. I love that.
Yeah, like the series. I know a lot of people shit on it. I actually liked the TV show, the Disney Plus.
Oh no, I love the TV show.
So that's what I was going to bring up.
I actually caught flack. I caught a lot of flack from Nolan for liking most of She-Hulk. I don't like all of it, but I liked most of it. And he's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Nothing they've done. Nothing they've done, in my opinion, has been terrible. I've still enjoyed and finished everything I've watched from them.
Mm-hmm.
There's been low points, definitely some that are not as good as others. But I don't think anything Marvel has put out has been just absolute garbage. I think we just have such high expectations that if something is only a mid movie, we're quick to say it's trash.
I mean, yes, and that's the problem, right? With coming out with absolute bangers, right? But here's the thing: is even the first phase, like all like beginning of that 10 years. Like I was telling because I went and saw this one with my buddy Tony today. I was like, because when we got done, it was like I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't like a bad movie.
It was good.
It was relatively entertaining. Just the story's kind of weak, but I get it. They're leading to something, right? But it was one of those ones that I go, you know what? To be fair though, I have never finished the first Captain America movie because I fall asleep. Like it's boring to me.
What?
Yes,
the first Avengers is a great movie.
So it's one of those ones like for me, I'm like, man, I get sleepy like halfly through, and
I'm gonna have to kill off Nolan's character now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, good luck. You're gonna lose like 60% of the fans. Okay, all that milk candy coming in or whatever.
That's like one third of the business is gone if that happens.
Right.
I see what he means because I get it when like Thor 2. That's a good example of slowing movies.
Movie, if I'm being honest, like
Thor 2 and Iron Man 2 are like
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like I said, comparatively, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's like again, it's like compared to like other ones, not that great.
I mean, the worst of the Marvel movies still look genius and like masterpieces compared to the entire Sonyverse or most of what came out of DC.
Or most of DC.
Were you telling me Madam Web is not Oscar worthy?
Did you time that on purpose as I was taking a drink?
I mean,
you got me on that one.
Grayson, I never want to hear you say that about Madam Web again. I never want to hear you say Oscar and Madam Web.
Like 20 wins. All right.
There's a lot of good eye candy in Madam Web. I'll give it
that. I was about to say that because
I'll watch that movie on mute all day long.
The girl that had the black costume, which that was such a tease, is like, really, you're going to show us like 5 seconds of that? Screw you guys.
Well,
I watched it because I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm going to watch it.
But
they missed the mark, and I think they lied to those actresses too to get them in that. And I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because most of them said they thought it was this MCU that they were joining.
Yeah.
So they definitely were told.
They're just not doing their research. That's dumb on their part.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just like I said, comparatively, right? There's you can make a lot of those. And it was one of those things like there were good parts of Falcon and Winter Soldier or whatever, and there were like less good parts or not great parts, and then just some straight up like bad parts. I will say, like shows have that, you know what I mean? Like
as far as the series goes, though, none of the bad parts or any of the low points of that series were the moments where Sam and Bucky are together.
No, exactly right. And
that's why I felt like it was such a swing and a miss when he showed up. I was all excited again. I was like, now this is what I was missing.
Oh man, one of my favorite bits is the is the part where they're talking about the Avengers in the beginning when they're about to get on the plane or whatever. He was like something whatever Gandalf or something like that, and he goes,
that's it's one of the big three.
He's like, what are you? He's like, what are the? Yeah, he's like, what does he say? Something about Gandalf. He's like,
wizards, robots, and aliens.
Wizards, robots, and aliens. Yeah, and he's like, like something about Gandalf or whatever, and he's like, you know who Gandalf is? Yeah. I read The Hobbit when it first came out in 1939.
In 1939, yeah.
I love that bit. I was like, oh, got him. Yeah, of course I read it.
And it's even funnier because Sam probably only saw the movies.
Yeah,
probably, right?
It's just it blows my mind that those two have such great chemistry together that they just didn't even try. Well, you almost should have Sam show up in
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
I don't think he will. However, the problem
he won't.
is,
but
why I think it happened is because the biggest problem when it comes to not only that series, but if Winter Soldier was in this movie a lot, it's way too many people thinking
he should be.
Why isn't Bucky Captain America?
Yeah, I mean, because like technically, if
it makes way too much sense, and in the comics, he did become.
Yeah,
I was gonna say if we're following line of events, it's Bucky came first. To get the shield, and then
plus Bucky has the super soldier serum.
I was dumped on for you're so racist. I was like, for what? Not wanting Falcon to become Cap, and the reason they would use it'd be like in the comics, it never made sense at all. He became Cap. In the movies, it does make sense because there was a nice little character arc for that. And it fit. I was completely okay with it.
It's because Bucky doesn't want it or doesn't think he deserves to be Captain America with his past.
And that would always weigh heavily on him. Though I had one complaint, it was that Falcon was a hero in his own right, equal to Cap.
He just did different things. It was a different type of hero.
Yeah. So why turn him into Cap? I would have just as easily gone to see a Falcon movie.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, realistically, yeah.
I think Chris Evans should have kept going. I don't think there was a reason to write Cap off at the end of Infinity.
Well, I think it's because they didn't know what to do. Yeah. Like that's why Phase 4 was kind of weird and funky. You know what I mean? You got some less than stellar products there, but it's also one of those ones that I feel like that's why like this one now, like being this the first movie in the I guess 5 the series or not 5 but Phase 5 I think, right?
We're in Phase 6.
Are we?
We're not in Phase 6.
Right.
Oh, it's not
you
6.
just gave me a flashback.
I think we were in Phase 6.
We were all saying that there was some that was not bad. I just remembered Secret Invasion.
And Secret Invasion was awful. That was also still 4, right? But and that's what I mean. It's like that's why I was like, okay, I can't give this movie too much flack because it's essentially the start and the beginning of you know what I mean of 5, right? So they have to set things up. They gotta start putting things in motion, whatever it is. Kind of, you can't have such a great movie at the beginning or whatever, right? I mean, I guess you could try. You could.
We're in Phase 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Since I'm such a big fan of Anthony Mackie, anyway.
Well, I go back and I look and I'm like, the first Iron Man was amazing, right? Like, yes, fantastic, amazing. However, there are still better movies along the line, you know what I mean, than the first Iron Man. So
in all honesty, I think we're starting to reach a point with the extended universe where it's become so big and just so much. We're seeing the problems with it, where instead of just having one concentrated story where like, let's just say like they made this entire story more concentrated on the leader, like doing corporate or not corporate, but just government espionage and like building up to like having an arc of like 3 movies, like what they used to have back in the day where they built up an actual villain. And they had a face off of that in its own storyline. It would be way better of a story. But because they have so much to build and they're covering so much ground on what's supposed to be just an individual person's storyline, it's just making it so bloated and just making the stories almost impossible to tell because they're trying to not only explain this person's character, but like whatever else is happening out in the universe instead of just having separate things just kind of happen throughout the movie that explain it in the background. And it's just drawing way too much focus and trying to build a universe instead of just having like separate projects to build that along the way.
You kind of nailed it on the head when you were saying that one of the big with the expanded universe, the benefits of that in the comics were that heroes that you wouldn't think would team up would sometimes team up, but they never sacrificed that for the story. So
exactly.
But movies have a lot more to them. There's a lot more risk. There's money involved in staggering amounts. You could see why they sort of do it, but and this is funny because this is kind of what broke things is that you had Captain America, Winter Soldier was a massive hit, but it was kind of like an offshoot of the Avengers. And then Civil War was straight up basically an Avengers movie.
Well, they call it a Captain America movie, but really it was an
Avengers movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing is how do you keep building and building on that? Well, the easy way to do it is to just bring in obscure people from time to time throughout the movie where there's a nice arc for it. But again, I'm a big Anthony Mackie fan, so I just wanted to see him in action. And I would argue the point: give him super soldier serum, make him Cap.
See,
stop
that's
waffling.
What
He's not capped out.
There's no reason that he wouldn't like. He's like, I'm not going to like. Why? You're just gonna die then. The Hulk. I'm sorry. There's so many times in that fight he should be dead.
Oh yeah.
But it was funny. I did like it was like, fuck, he's full of shit. I should have just taken it. I love that.
Right, and it's one of those ones that you take that hit, and he's like, you know what? He's like, no,
I would say that.
Full of shit, dude.
Well, and then what if they actually made that like an actual better part of the story? Like actually have him dealing with like whatever make the leader like the secret lead of building of like a 3-arc movie. What if they made this story like he's pulling the strings and putting up against like threats that are pushing his physical human abilities to the point where he's like, I don't know if I should not be doing this, all natural and trying to fight off all these villains this way because I'm going to die otherwise. There needs to be that moral compromise on whether or not he's going to, give in to like PEDs essentially.
It shouldn't even be like a moral thing. It should be like, I want to be able to.
Because he wants to do the best he can and not. In the movie itself could be interesting where he's having to deal with his new power levels and responsibilities that come along with that because that used to weigh heavily on Steve Rogers. It would do the same for him.
Right.
But he doesn't need to be a Captain America / Falcon. He needs to be Captain America. So go ahead and make him Captain America. Have him pass the wings off to somebody else. Maybe he doesn't need to fly around.
That's all he's got though, because he doesn't have the strength. All he's got, I can fly still.
I mean, he took body shots from the Hulk, so.
And then again, that makes
he got stabbed.
And even then, would you trade the power of flight for just a shield?
Well, super strength.
I'm sorry. Once I start flying, I ain't stopping. Okay?
Yeah. I kind of get that part.
But
He's
you
a
have
pilot,
to have a suit too. If you have the super serum, that's naturally your body.
Well, David, to the point of morality too, it's like when he's sitting there watching everybody just get just murked in the actual presidential conference. I'm sitting there, and it's like, if you're going to make a debate about morality, you're letting people die because you refuse to take a serum to possibly save more lives. That is a lack of a moral choice.
And that is a good storyline right there.
You're being selfish.
So,
honestly, you should be like, dude, you're being, be like, look, you're doing.
Nolan would take the serum. We all know this. He would absolutely take the serum.
Yeah, I don't know who wouldn't. But if anybody here was offered it, would you not take it?
I think most people
absolutely would take it. Yeah.
It would make my knees feel way better.
It would make my knees feel way better.
He does spend a lot of time on them. I understand.
Shit.
Praise
Cougar candy.
Yeah.
He
got played.
He's eating something for sure.
No, like you're exactly 1000% right though. Like I can't imagine that 99% of people wouldn't take the serum or whatever, right? Just to get that extra little boost or whatever that keeps you essentially, you're right, like alive. Like I don't know about you, but if it's like, okay, well, you can either fight the Hulk with the serum or without the serum. Yeah, I'm gonna take that serum, please. 11 times out of 10.
Cap survived things only because he had that.
Sometimes, it's like, well,
and like, even with that, I think if the Hulk wanted to, he would still kill him.
Yeah.
Like if Cap wasn't on top of his game,
he was pretty much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that he was squeezing pretty heavy on his head, man. I was like, ooh.
No. I mean, like Chris Evans.
I thought that was gonna kill him.
Steve Rogers against the Hulk. I think the Hulk, if he wanted to, could still just like rip his arms out. I don't think a super serum or not. If Cap's not on top of his game getting around.
I know
Hulk
based off the comics,
yes,
the Captain America movie version is way stronger than he was in the comics.
Well, and I was going to bring that up too, is because like the super soldier serum, essentially, per lore of the comics, essentially just puts you at peak physical human condition. Yeah. So it's one of those ones that like you do get a little less tired. He's tip top strong or whatever, right? But he's not superhuman.
I think it becomes pretty superhuman to an extent. I don't think it's like Superman levels, but it's definitely. But
if you can hold down a helicopter, you're stronger than a peak human.
Yeah, you're superhuman. You're superhuman.
Well, that's the only thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's the thing is like, dude is just, it puts him at like peak physical, like human condition. So he, he does have a better endurance. He is a little bit stronger, but it's not, holding on to helicopters kind of strength. I don't think. In the comics, right?
If you ever read the Invaders comics of the Avengers, where it was basically that's how Samuel Jackson got hired as Nick Fury. When they wrote that series, that Cap was that level. So I think they looked to that when they were developing the first few movies for the Marvel films. They're like, hey, we kind of want that.
Cap has definitely super strength. It's just not, again, it's not like, oh, I can punch through metal necessarily, but it's still like he can do things.
It was fun watching him run through those walls, though. That was cool.
Yeah, he's probably about 10 times the strength of a normal person, I would guess.
Yeah, I would say that's about right.
The only thing that ever really bothered me about the soldier serum in the MCU was the whole, I can't get drunk because my metabolism's too fast.
I mean, that makes sense though, if that's how your body works now.
Well, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like it's just a dumb.
Up the alcohol intake. That's all it would take.
Yeah, stronger alcohol. Or
I mean, it would kill a human, but you should get drunk off this.
I would easily give up not being able to get drunk if I could have super strength. Come on,
right?
No question.
I'm just gonna start drinking Everclear.
I think it'd be really funny if it would have been like,
that point you could probably drink ethanol.
Now with the with my metabolism, I can't get drunk. And if she would have been like, hey, no problem, pulls out like a bag of heroin.
Jesus, out here.
Shall you?
Pulls out a bag of like weed brownies. Like, oh yeah, what about your metabolism? Handle these.
100% pure Colombian Bam Bam. Yep.
Just pulls out some cocaine.
What?
Chris Evans is somewhere weeping in a corner from our conversation.
No, Chris Evans he likes this kind of stuff.
Of course he does. He is. When he did the torch, that whole thing in Deadpool, man, no one watched it with me. We were dying laughing at that scene where it's like he lived for that moment.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was one of those things that and that's the thing too, is like I'm watching it and I know how these things work sometimes, and I was like when he first showed up, I go, oh, that's not Cap. Like I just knew immediately. I was like, oh, that's not Cap, that's Human Torch. And then and of course Flame, and I was like, yep, nailed it. I was like, you just that bait and switch. I felt that one down on my plums on that one. Like I know a lot of people were expecting some off Cap, but he's done not me. I knew where they were going.
He's done many interviews where he says the Torch is the closest to his personality that he's ever played.
Oh, probably. I mean, but when he played Torch, he was also like 20.
He was a good part of it.
I heard it was actually Varsity Blues when he walks out with the ice cream sundae around his penis.
The sundae in his butt.
That's not Varsity Blues. That's not another.
No, that was called Not Another Teen Movie. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Varsity Blues is what they were parodying. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has your eyes,
James Kennedy.
That's so funny, and then it's just the dots.
it's dots and like hair that's just
stick figures, and he's like, "She has your eyes.
She has your eyes."
Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean,
they had to have fun making that movie,
doing that. So, yeah,
that girl that was the main character was on Supergirl as the sister.
Cool.
Oh man, that was you presented that as such a cool fact, and then to be met with David's cool. Come on, give him a little more credit.
So Grayson, your thoughts on the movie?
Pretty much, but I will say, just to give you like a quick summation, honestly, overall, pretty much a mid movie. It pretty much what everybody else has been saying, like internet wise and review wise. But fight scenes were incredible. I honestly thought, especially the last one, fantastic. Yeah. The fight choreography was amazing. Story could have been done way better, but you can definitely feel the fact that they were just in rewrite like 800 and just trying to get it on film and just get it done. But with how the story was handled, I still feel like even with the time crunch, they could have written it a little bit better, but it is what it is. I feel like they wasted a good villain that they could have used further down the line a little too early with
Esposito. Definitely. That's where you're
going. That too.
Yeah.
I mean, Esposito, and the leader too, like they could have built that up a little bit more, made it more like where the Hulk has to come in and help out to actually start, bringing back some fan stuff for the Hulk, because I'm a huge Hulk fan. But overall, like most of it was fine. It was a serviceable movie. It was a good, action flick, but you could definitely tell they were falling
it was an MCU filler movie.
Oh, absolutely. They're falling back like on 80s like tropes, being like, man, I can't believe you're here. What are you doing here? That's amazing. And like all that kind of stuff. And like, we got to go get this guy right now, or it's the end of the world, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's fine, but it was filler. It was basic writing. It was quick. It was just something that they could churn out that was full of tropes to fill the runtime pretty much.
So Grayson, I'm interested in this opinion. You mentioned about Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am not a very big fan of the recent trend and such when they do race swap for no reasons, where it's just, you know what I mean? A lot of movies, MCU, Disney in general, they've done that a lot. But one that was suggested and heavily rumored that I actually would have been, I think, very behind. There was an early rumor that Esposito was going to be the new Professor X. Do you think that would have been good?
Ooh.
I think that would have been fantastic. Yeah,
I think he would
have been like absolutely. Like, here's the way I feel about race swapping: if the actor can actually portray who the character
if it makes sense,
absolutely, exactly.
Yes, like it's a lot of ones that don't make sense. You can tell they did just to be edgy,
just to do it. Yeah, just to be edgy.
Yeah. Race or gender swap for no reason kills me.
Yeah.
Like if you have source material, unless there's a very good reason, don't do it.
For an upcoming one, there's one that comes to mind as the female Silver Surfer, but I'm kind of giving them benefit of the doubt on that one.
Well, that's a different character. Yeah. It's not the Silver Surfer. It is an established character, and I think in our universe we're going to get right. And then I think in our universe we're going to get the regular one that we're used to.
We're going to get Norman Rad.
Clearly, yeah. So
I'm okay with that. So
yeah.
That swap plus Nova was a Herald of Galactus at one point.
Because how more mad would people have been if they would have done the regular Silver Surfer just for that universe to get destroyed, and then our universe is the female one going forward?
I think people would. I mean, they're already upset that there is a female Silver Surfer. So yeah, that's gonna make it even 10 times worse.
And it's even funnier that people that get mad about it being like they're just doing it to gender swap when clearly they haven't actually read the source material, knowing that there is a female like his wife. Like, I think that's even funnier. That's telling on yourself.
That's telling on yourself.
I mean, gender swapping or anything like that, it's not that big of a deal. But honestly, I think Esposito could still do it if after Secret War, but I think he might be too old at that point.
Yeah, I think they're going to find. I wouldn't be surprised if McAvoy gets to do it again.
He's aging back into Professor X.
I was going to say, I literally saw a video today, actually, of the BAFTAs, I think, or something, and it was David Tennant singing, 500 Miles or whatever. Hosting the awards, which that song's a bop always. But at some point he's like singing with like people in the audience, and he's like, what? And like James McAvoy's looking all of like 45, 50 years old now.
He could, and honestly, I mean, there were some problems with those X-Men movies, obviously, but he was one of the highlights. I think he was a great young professor.
But real quick before we move on from Esposito, I do want to just say, his physical acting as like the assassin, I was surprised by. I thought he would show his age a little bit. As Sidewinder, he was really good in just all the combat scenes he was in.
He did fine.
Before we move on. But
he also did really good because his scenes were filmed mid to late last year.
Yeah,
I mean, he was very new addition to that movie because originally it was Seth Rollins. They completely reshot that, so I thought he did excellent considering he was such a late addition.
Yeah, change.
When Nolan and I met him at one of the conventions,
he's a great guy. He's so nice.
He is super nice, but he has a presence to him that just sort of, you think he can pretty much play anything.
He is to me. He's got a stage ability. Actor presence where wherever he is, he is the main character.
What was it? Teddy asked me, Nolan. He's like, we were trying to get a photo, all of us, and I'm taller than most of them, so I was going to take a knee. But he was standing there and he goes, I'll get in the photo. You might have to take a knee. And then Teddy tried to move us around to where I wouldn't have to do that. And I just looked at him. I was like, when the moth tells you to take a fucking knee, you take a knee.
He started laughing, having a great time.
And he started laughing at that. So that kind of broke the ice, and it was fun.
Well, it's crazy too, because
that theater presence, you're not kidding. That's
that's just who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's one of those ones, generally you think of people with presence or whatever are really tall, bigger individuals, and dude he's not much bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not.
He's a short guy. He's like
that's the reason why he pulled off Gus Fring.
He's a tiny bit shorter than Teddy. And Teddy's I'm 6 foot. Teddy's about what 5'9",
5'10". Yeah.
So he's probably 5'9", 5'10".
5'5".
I thought you were like 4'3".
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm 4'3" with 6'4" energy. How about that?
I'm about 5'6", and when I met him, we were about the same height.
Yeah,
so
that's right. So he's almost eye to eye. Yeah. But yeah, dude has a presence for being as as small.
I was actually
super wonderful guy.
I hate that I feel like he was wasted in this role. Nothing wrong with the role; he did a great job.
No,
I'd love to have seen him in the MCU as a bigger presence later on.
Yeah,
because Sidewinder doesn't really get a lot.
I think we'll see him come back if they can get this wrapped up quickly enough with Secret War, and if he's still spry enough. Because I will say, I was really happy to see that Harrison Ford came in for one more action nerd movie with this movie and actually got done some service instead of what happened with Indiana Jones, which total side thing aside from this. But it was good.
We're all still very, very angry, and we're all pointing to the doll to show where they touched us. So yeah, we get it.
I think they should just recast.
Movie.
I'd have no problem if they recast Indiana Jones and went back to the earlier days, like more adventures after Last Crusade.
Yeah, get the guy that played him in Solo. He was a pretty good version of him.
We could talk about this in a whole other episode. Yeah. I don't think Solo was nearly as bad as what people say. I'd watch another at least one movie on that world. And he is coming back though. I forgot what project, but they are bringing back people from Solo for the younger days of them for something.
Oh, another movie with biracial Jesus in it.
Well, because they're doing a whole series on Lando with Donald Glover.
Yeah, and they're doing a Darth Maul.
Okay,
thing.
but I do like his version of
excited for. You know what I mean?
I really did like him in that though. I didn't go.
Well, yeah, there was some down spots in that movie, but overall, it was like an 8. It was not bad at all. I enjoyed it.
No, I liked it. It's just the timing of it was bad because it came on the back of another movie. But we're getting off track from the Captain America movie here.
I don't.
Nolan, why'd you do that?
It might just be me. I don't like Anthony Mackie.
No,
I think he's fine as an actor or whatever, but a lot of his interviews and stuff, he's very dismissive to fandoms and nerd/geek culture in total. He's very disrespectful to a lot of the people that watch these movies.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a dick. And I know some of it's just his sense of humor. I get it. I totally do. But
I've met so many people like that in my life though, that I kind of understand where he,
I get it. I don't. He doesn't treat it the way that a lot of the other people in the MCU do, with the respect towards it and the people watching it. But I don't find him that compelling in this character. From the opening scene when they're all in the limo drinking on the way to the White House and stuff, I was like, this would never be Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but that might have been why they did it too.
But it's not Steve Rogers in not a good way. It's not oh yeah, Cap's relatable. That's not what you want from Captain America. You don't want to be oh, he's like my buddy. No, that's just not what he is. He doesn't have that gravitas.
To your point, that speech that he made at the end about carrying the weight and the responsibility about having to show up on point all the time, it felt a little tone deaf for how most of the rest of the movie kind of played out.
It did. It felt very different than the way that he's acted for most of the movie. So it doesn't jive. It's like he says the right things, but the way he actually acts and is as the character, it doesn't fit with. He still acts like Falcon.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Which I don't have a problem if he was just Falcon.
If he was just
in
Falcon,
a cool suit. Yeah.
I still would have. I would have gone to see a Falcon movie. I really would have.
I think the way they've done the reshoots and the rewrites and all that stuff, I think that's one of those ones that was probably redone. Right, because you're exactly right. It doesn't. What he says is you're oh man, this is good. I like what he's saying. You know what I mean? And he's got a point. But you're right. Through most of the movie, he doesn't have that same ideology or that same.
It feels mentality. It feels like empty words.
Right.
Well, my biggest problem with it is it feels like an after-school special. and for this reason, we must be doing this, this, and this.
Yes.
You must be standing up and being right. G.I. Joe signs off on this, and it was why are we ending off on just a G.I. Joe after-school? Just you keep at it, kids. Type just vibe of a message. It was just
I like that they brought up a couple of times, acknowledging that he used to help the PTSD people and stuff like that. He fits that fine. For that, he does feel like the buddy that you'll grab some drinks with, talk about 100%. I liked him as that. I like him as Falcon.
Yep.
I don't think the transfer over to the Captain America mantle has gone very smoothly, and I think they tried to make that acknowledging it and trying to fix it in this movie, and I just don't think it worked. And I think depending on how this ends, with money-wise, probably mostly, but a lot of the reviews and way people are saying, I wouldn't be surprised if after Secret Wars we have a new Captain America as Steve Rogers, an alternate version or something like that. If not, Chris Evans coming back.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony Mackie's almost aged out of the role, isn't he? He's in his late 30s, early 40s or something like that, right?
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was almost 60.
Right? Yeah, but he was in a CGI suit the entire time. The
I
Captain
mean,
America
so was
just
Falcon
roll
for the
is
most
very
part
physical.
now.
I mean, true. But what I'm building up to is that I think with Anthony Mackie, he I saw, I don't know if anybody here saw Captain or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but it wasn't a bad show. But I feel like the deconstruction of the symbology or the symbolism of Captain America and having to live up to that role kind of took too much of a hit, and so now they're trying to play over like the relatability of Falcon as a hero. But it's like, if he's going to live up to Steve Rogers, we kind of need to see him weighing that responsibility of being a symbol for America and having to be somebody who's not on PEDs and trying to make sure that he can handle all that responsibility while not, dying in the line of duty.
Yeah.
Not only
there was
that,
four really big interested things that they missed. One is when whatever his sidekick is going to be called was in the hospital. The Trouble Man soundtrack should have been playing.
Baby Falcon.
Yeah, Baby Falcon. Baby Bird. We'll just call him Baby Bird. But Falcon. That's even better. So that should have been playing. It wasn't. Anthony Mackie should have been wounded and have a blood transference from what's his name?
Bucky?
Bradley character. No.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about, right? Oh God. Why am I blanking on his name? The black 1950s cap. His name.
Oh, Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley, thank you. He should have gotten a blood transfusion from Isaiah Bradley, and if you know the comics, his nephew's supposed to get that. Then you could get two heroes out of it. Like maybe they both got injured, and if they'd had that in, you could have had the Patriot come about, and you would also have Anthony Mackie finally get a super soldier serum. But that was missed opportunities. But still, good movie.
See, here's my biggest problem too, though. They mention a couple of times and kind of leave it that they're going to bring back the Avengers, and I was thinking about it. Ain't no goddamn Avenger gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna follow this Cap. He would not be the leader in a new Avengers. I just don't see it.
No.
Well, see,
that's the thing.
Over Doctor Strange, like people are gonna be like, yo, we got a wizard or we got you.
Over Doctor Strange, over Reed Richards coming in, over Spider-Man. Why would you pick Wizards? Why would you pick this random dude that he has a jetpack? Like I'd pick Hawkeye as a leader before I'd pick him.
Before you pick him. Sure. I was going to say,
that's accurate.
Historically, it's one of those ones that the Avengers are led by the big three, right? Which is Iron Man, Cap, and surprisingly, the Hulk.
Or Thor.
Thor. My bad. Thor, it's not Hulk, it's
Yeah.
Thor. So it's Thor, Cap, or Iron Man are generally the big three that lead, right? But I mean, it's one of those ones that at other times some smaller characters have taken over like leadership roles. Like
Black Widow was in the comics. She was a leader at one point.
She was,
she has decades of strategy and things like that.
Strategy, yeah.
Actually,
What the hell did Sam
she was
Wilson
leader of the
do?
Avengers during the blip, if I remember.
Right, because Cap didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right, because he didn't want to do it. But
he was
it's
doing
one of those
the
ones that
counseling thing.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you'd be able to follow a king. I think so. Like T'Challa being a leader or whatever makes sense.
That was the original plan, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Supposedly, before he died, they were trying to set up T'Challa to be the next leader of the Avengers, and I could get behind that.
Yeah,
well, I mean, he's a king, right? It makes sense. Like he's got some.
And the fact that they didn't just recast that role, one of the biggest MCU missteps, I think, because that's what he even wanted. Like Chadwick himself said, this character is way bigger than me. It needs to be recast. And I think once we do Secret Wars, we will get a new T'Challa in the new world.
Yeah,
because it'll be a reasoning for it being somebody else. But I would have had no problem with them recasting for the next movie. I think they should have.
I thought they
it's almost more disrespectful to him not to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, they should have done that. I believe his brother was probably advocating for that as well.
His whole family, you need to move on. Chadwick himself, because he knew he was dying.
Right. Yeah.
He had made it very clear to his family and everybody that he wanted the role to continue and keep his legacy going.
Well, because he said he's like, this role is bigger than me. There's more stories to tell.
The character meant more to the people that he represented.
Correct.
Than just one person. He'd become a symbol. I mean, look at they literally wore traditional outfits and stuff to the first movie. It was huge for them. And then that whole community basically got told, hey, he's gone. So let's calm down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only disrespectful to the character's legacy, but it's disrespectful to Chadwick's too. I mean, like when you stop that kind of character, you stop people like remembering the good times and looking back at those, like appreciating what was to lead us to what is now.
Like give him the honor of passing the baton to someone else.
Like even if it's like you have to do something stupid like a facial reconstruction surgery with nanobots, and they have to do something like wild like that, I'd rather that and still have T'Challa than just whatever they're trying to do.
Or just make it clear to us that hey, this is T'Challa. They don't even have to explain it. Like when they brought in
when they changed Brody,
nobody cared.
That's probably the origin of why they were hesitant to do all that, because
they brought in the new
famous black character was replaced by somebody else later.
They changed Ross.
They changed.
They got rid of Terrence Howard, picked up, what's his face, and then they changed Ross.
Don Cheadle,
thank you.
They originally wanted Don Cheadle. That was who they were originally going to have to begin with, so that kind of worked out for them.
I still wish Terrence Howard would make an appearance in like the multiverse.
It would have been.
Point.
I would love that actually.
I hope he does. I know he won't because of the reasons of why he's out, but it'd be so good. I mean, maybe it's been over a decade. Maybe they'll have put it aside for him to have a little cameo.
Well, and they could have even explained it that was the scroll. They could have been like, "Hey, ever since he came in here, that's when the scroll started."
Or
Terrence Howard's back.
It would also be really funny if it's another world where he's Iron Man, since the whole thing, like he wanted more money than RDJ. It's like he's the star in this universe.
Yeah, that's funny.
That'd be funny.
In the Fantastic Four universe, it's Terrence Howard as Iron Man.
I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan. I'm nervous, but I'm also giving them the benefit of the doubt because I want it to work. It does, and I mentioned this to one of y'all the other day that I wonder if we're getting a big misdirect. We're thinking that universe is going to get destroyed. What if it's the Marvel universe that's getting destroyed and the survivors go over to this new 1960s universe where they don't even have to deal with modern day things?
I don't think so. There's too many people. It makes way more sense for them to go
because
there's that.
Then you've kind of removed all the effort we put into these people. Yeah, I see your point on that too.
You got to move over like 100 characters at this point.
Well, there's that, but also it's one of those things that you think 1960s Fantastic Four is going to accept Anthony Mackie as Captain America? Absolutely not.
Well, no. Reed Richards in the comics was always for equality.
No, and I get that part, right? Maybe Reed Richards is, but
that's 1960s America.
1960s America wouldn't have. Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Are you saying there's a Negro being Captain America? What the hell?
Whoa!
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen, and it would just be
that's what would happen
all over the place.
Don't blow me, Keegan. Go fuck yourself.
Did you just hose down Captain America? Yeah, like what is that business?
What do you mean Captain America can't sit at the front of the bus?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I think that would definitely not work. Very well.
So much for the idealized 1960s. So
I think that just meant in like technology and science.
Yeah,
not probably an acceptance because people are still people at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, people are we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I do fully believe. I mean, their world may not get destroyed; they may just end up having to leave it for whatever reason. I think it's destruction, but we don't know. But I do think it's going to be them coming to the MCU as opposed to the other way around. I feel like we just have too much established and built there, but then it's all going to get destroyed for Battle World. So.
Well, I think what they're honestly going to do is I think they're probably going to make more like I kind of want to see this happen because of what they're doing with the Fantastic Four. I think they're toying with the idea of bringing in like some of that, ultra futuristic stuff, like with what they did with the Avengers Tower and everything like that. They're trying to see if people will jive with that comic book feel and kind of institute some more like futuristic technology of modern day.
And I think rebuilding everything after Battle World will have some more of that. I agree.
What if we've already seen Battle World?
Where?
And hear me out. In the void, that whole planet. What if that's Battle World?
I don't think that's it. Because if
kind of sort of set up like that.
If they're doing Battle World the same way they did in the comics, at least every section of it is basically a different point in time / event.
But that's my point. That whole
like in one of
leftover thing in
Civil
Loki
War
too.
is the United States where it's just half blue and red. And all of that. Plus, I think Loki. I'm really interested to see how they're going to work in the fact that Loki's supposed to be like the protector of all the multiverses now, because clearly that's got to go to hell.
Like hella hell or
no? Like he's like he's literally holding the timelines together and making sure things are like straight and work.
Yeah,
did you watch Loki season 2?
Them apart, yeah.
I didn't. That was one of those.
Why are you here? Get out?
Why are you here? Great question.
That's like
David.
That's like a crucial part of what. Yeah, but no, Loki. And that's kind of how they're getting around the whole Kang thing, is that Loki has stopped it now.
Loki's the
because Loki has transcended to basically be what is it, the king of stories or something? I think
God of stories. Loki,
the god of stories, and he
literally it makes sense though, right? Because like yes, technically it's one of those things like Asgardians are, well, in this world they're a different type.
They're aliens,
right?
Yeah, they're aliens.
Essentially, they kind of make them like aliens instead of being gods or whatever, right? But Loki technically is a god. So him being that way makes 1000% sense.
He might be the key to Secret Wars. Anyways, that might be how the heroes learn about it.
He's technically a frost giant,
but he has also he is
he's a frost midget. Let's be honest, he's a frost midget.
No, they can shapeshift.
But I think
honestly, David, to your point, David, I think honestly he's with how they kind of set that up at the end of Loki. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle all that responsibility, so that might cause that rift in like the timelines, so to speak.
Well, I can also see it being like Doctor Doom comes after him, like the RDJ one or something. Or because I do think what's going to happen is he's going to steal Reed's technology of like multiversal and use that under the guise of saving everybody. Because I think it's going to him trying to become God Emperor Doom, where he's doing it for the good of everybody.
Yeah,
kind of the same way, and I think that somehow it's all going to revolve back into Loki losing whatever the abilities that he has, what he's doing, or he may be even the one who reaches out to our MCU to his brother or whatnot and is like, I need your help because this is happening. If
they're going to do another Thor movie, they have to have Loki, because it's very obvious that his movies aren't any good without Loki in them.
I don't know.
Dynamic.
I think the last movie was just bad.
I think so too.
It was, but imagine how much better it would have been with Loki in it.
I don't know. He probably just would have been made.
I don't know where he would fit in though. Like that's the thing is like if trying to like put Loki in there, where does he go? Where does he fit in?
That was a different one because I didn't really like that story though. But I could see him constantly being chased by the guy with the sword though. That would have made sense. And like, I don't want to die from this guy. But again,
the issue with
where he's at in Loki the series is a perfect way they got him, and he can always reach out and stuff like. So he's there. Yeah. He's like an ace in the hole.
Because we've got to have the reunion scene between him and Thor eventually.
At some point. Yeah,
it has to happen because they're both still alive.
But he also can move around alternates of himself. There's others out there, and now that they can exist, you can always pluck one of those out. And
maybe that would probably make the rifts worse, because I think what's going to happen is the incursions that are happening that we've started to see like in the Marvels. That's what's going to fuck everything up, and I think Loki's not going to be able to fix that, so he's going to turn to them to try to help him and have everything go however it goes.
Well, what if
ultimately I give Captain America like a 6.5.
But what if one of the Council of Reeds is bad? Like, because we're gonna get them. So what if like Miles Teller's Reed helps?
I don't think it's gonna be the Council of Reeds that goes bad. I'm not worried about that. No, but I think that's the technology that they're gonna take that Doom's gonna use.
I honestly think that Loki's just going to pull Dr. Doom out of one of those timelines to try to find like the smartest minds to help him fix whatever's happening with the incursions, and then Dr. Doom just ends up playing Loki and going off to take the technology we see in Fantastic Four.
I don't think Loki would be played by Dr. Doom.
I kind of like the idea of, since it's Tony Stark being him, I like the idea of Tony Stark being a variant of Dr. Doom. For some reason, that just seems right.
Well, there is.
As dumb as it sounds, it just is neat. I'm like, well, they've always been kind of similar in the comics. It always drove me nuts. You got these two armored guys.
Well, Aaron, that's actually a thing.
Well, but Dr. Doom's armor isn't his armor is not his power though.
No, his sorcery and science together with his high intelligence and his force of will. They can't ignore that. His sheer force of will is supposed to be
that's our Dr. Doom,
unmatched.
Though. There's no saying that the RDJ one is going to be the ultimate Doom that we keep. I have a feeling he'll be taken down possibly by the MCU Doom. Mm-hmm. I think there will be somebody else playing it that will be the big actual Dr. Doom that we know about going forward.
You know who should be Dr. Doom then? Like instead of RDJ?
Ian McGufford.
McGufford, the guy who played Reed the first time. I think would be a great Dr. Doom.
Who better could play him than the guy that played Reed?
Unfortunately, I think they're going to bring him in for the Council of Reeds.
I believe that too.
I was like, it probably is.
He and Miles Teller and such will be there.
You think Krasinski's coming back? You think you're going to bring him?
I don't know because he got turned into spaghetti.
Well, he got.
But that doesn't mean he's dead. He could have been like put back together. I don't know.
No,
he could have been. He could have been consumed and pooped out.
Yeah. He did look like he was put in a paper shredder. So yeah, that's.
But we don't know if that's a permanent thing. If that, you know what I mean? Like Wanda may have just been then like get off my back. I'm more interested to see when are we going to get Wanda back? When's the Scarlet Witch? Because she's one of the only Nexus beings that we've met.
That might be the key thing with Doom.
She's confirmed as dead though, isn't she? Like didn't Agatha? Agatha.
I watched Agatha all along. They hinted at it, but no, she was not.
But they don't know for a fact. Just like a lot of what happened in Agatha all along, nobody knows what was really happening because, as we know, the road wasn't even real. It was literally invented by her son,
Billy. Yeah, Billy has the same kind of reality warping powers.
Yeah, so
which was good. I thought that was a good.
Oh, it was a fantastic series. It's probably one of the best they've done. It was a really good series, and I'm excited to see him finding his brother and everything. And I think that's going to lead into the Vision Quest series.
Oh yeah, and she really did at the end kind of start looking like her comic book counterpart. I thought.
When she became a witch. I mean, a ghost. Yeah. I bet Nolan didn't watch that series either.
Nope.
Nolan, you need to just leave. You can join us again when you've educated yourself.
Oh, yeah. Educate yourself.
As a matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and kick Nolan out of the Project Hail Mary talk now because he's not caught up on MCU stuff.
This actually brings up a good point. I think I mentioned this to you guys. I do feel like the MCU in general is becoming closer and closer to the comic books, where they have all these webs of different stories that are interconnected that you kind of have to read and watch all of them to fully understand what's going on. You can still get like 70 to 80% without everything else, but it adds so much more to that. And I was even thinking about that with this movie because I was like, what if I was somebody that all I watched were the Captain America movies and then I watched this? I would be
you'd be lost.
Well, especially because it's mainly Incredible Hulk 2 with some
if you haven't seen Incredible Hulks, the Eternals, both Captain America movies, the Avenger movies, and the Disney Plus series, that's like 7 different projects that if you haven't watched, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and because it was one of those things like I was like looking and I was like, wow, they're really using footage from like 2009 Hulk. Holy crap.
And then it even goes further back because then if you want to include in the Abomination who showed up in She-Hulk, so you know what's happening with him, the adamantium stuff, if you've never seen any X-Men, you don't know about Wolverine, that's his claws. There's just so much going into it.
It was one of those things that I'm going forward. I wonder if they're going to remake his shield, right? Like if they're going to redo Cap's shield because
it's always been vibranium.
Well, that's the thing is
it should have a falcon design on it is what he's saying. Yeah.
Oh jeez. No, it's a combination of adamantium and vibranium.
That's later. That's only in the comics for a short time period.
Later, yeah.
But either way, it's one of those ones that I can see it being.
I feel like they should give him the super serum before they worry about that.
Before they give him that. Yeah. I also want to say that shield really does not obey the laws of physics at all.
It's a comic book movie, Nolan.
That shit has magic powers, dude.
That's literally a line in one of the Captain America movies.
I'm aware.
It's
Captain America Civil War. That thing doesn't obey the laws of physics at all, does it?
Tom Holland nailed it with that one.
But it really doesn't. Like when he's in the air, like towards the end, trying to take down the jets, and he like kicks it. There's no way that it goes like back and forth like that, and then he like catches it. And I was like, that thing really does not obey the laws of physics.
Where is your sense of whimsy, David? Nolan.
Like without the super serum, he should not have been able to throw that shield nearly as hard as he does.
Exactly.
Well,
I want him to have the serum.
Without the super
serum, the excuse of being a vibranium shield is stupid.
It should be almost impossible for him to even like properly hold.
Well, and also going off that too. Without the super serum, it should be impossible for him to go from nose diving straight down to landing on his feet. I'm sorry, both his legs are broken right then and there.
Superhero landing from 100 feet,
No, it's okay because the Wakanda suit, shock absorbers.
The Wakanda technology was only the wings, I thought.
No, it's the whole suit.
No, it was the whole suit.
The whole suit.
If you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, they give him an entire suit.
They give him the whole.
That's right.
The whole.
So how did he get stabbed in that first?
It's the least they could do since they gave Bucky an actually cool Wakanda nickname and he didn't get one. So that's fair.
The White Wolf. No,
he goes, "What are you?" He calls you the Black Wolf. He's like, "That was White Wolf, actually." That was a good line.
I just feel like if the president was literally almost assassinated, that they would have been like, "Hey, we have the Winter Soldier who is a super soldier, literally here in trying to become a congressman. He is in DC. We're gonna bring him in to just kind of protect you." Like, there's no way that would not have been the first thought. They wouldn't be like, "Nah, we're fine."
Well, especially when they're like, it might be mind control. And they're like, who else has been mind controlled?
Who's a better expert on what this could be? Instead, they're just like, we don't know.
I am really looking forward to the Thunderbolts, though. And I'm hoping some of this gets addressed there.
Oh, I think this movie, Thunderbolts is going to be... Yeah. See, what's funny?
Might be a big one.
Okay. This even solidifies it for me even more. They mention in the previews and on the poster, the Avengers are not available. Like, we need heroes, and never once are they like, let's go get Sam, because nobody cares. Nobody wants him. The Thunderbolts literally almost all have more. The only person who doesn't have more power than him on Thunderbolts is Yelena, and she's more trained than any of them. But Red Guardian is a super soldier.
That real funny
Bucky's
line that they added
soldier.
Recently.
Even that agent guy has super soldier. So
there was a scene in that in one of the commercials where he's going, he's like, so all we do is punch and shoot. That's all the power sets we got. That was funny. I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Thunderbolts just because it looks like, for me, it's one of those ones that I don't really care about the story so much on that one, just as long as it's a fun movie, because that's what it looks like. It looks fun and entertaining.
It looks fun.
I'm going to say really now, fun. This movie was fine. Like I said, I gave it about a 6.5.
6.5,
but I think I've had
way
more
better
fun.
than Eternals.
I've had more fun watching the trailers for Thunderbolts than this whole movie.
Than the whole movie,
yeah. I was on the fence for
that's accurate.
That's
accurate. Highly accurate.
It just looks like more fun.
I was definitely on the fence.
It's characters that I care more about. It looks like it's a more cohesive story. It looks like it's more entertaining. Whereas this one, it just kind of felt like a filler. And honestly, like you said, Keegan, it felt more like Incredible Hulk 2 than any Captain America movie. Everything important was from Hulk.
Yeah.
I would like to give a shout out to them for bringing the leader back. I mean, that was a long thread that just was sort of left hanging, and it's nice that they went back to that. I think.
Okay, speaking of the leader, can we talk about how stupid the end credit scene was?
Wait. You mean the end credit scene that was legit just the Batman checking out Lex Luthor in prison scene from BBS?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I was waiting to see a little worm in the windowsill or something.
It doesn't make sense to me that he'd be like, through my probabilities, I know that the multiverses are crashing. Like, what? That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Well, and what especially do you think if he got wrong with Sam, that was a reshoot. Yeah. So what do you think they originally? I mean, was it the Kangs that he was going to be talking about? Like,
it could have been,
yeah,
possibly. I just know it was one of those ones that the ending bit was definitely more like a, like what? And I was like, you know what? It's fine. They're probably trying to set up Secret Wars. Fucking
honestly, you know what would have been a cool end credit scene? One of the Kangs breaking him out of the raft.
That would have been amazing.
Taking him with it, like to use him, and maybe taking Ross too.
I kind of want to see. I want them to bring back Kang. I mean, that actor was great as Kang.
I think
all the controversy aside, I hope we see him again.
I think we will
briefly, but I also think it would have been great if they bring back the Kang storyline, like maybe way later on now or something. Give it another chance. Because it's a huge storyline. It sucks for it just to get shot because some dude had legal trouble for a bit.
And he wasn't even guilty. That's the part that irked me. I was like, ugh, here we go.
Well, here's something from the trailer. The trailer made a big point of this big funeral we know Liv Tyler was filming. Do you think Ross originally died at the end of this movie and then they refilmed it?
No,
probably.
Hey, Aaron, you're wrong. Aaron, Jonathan Majors was found guilty for.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was found guilty.
Oh, I thought they dropped it all.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
No, he was found guilty. You can just Google that. The conviction.
Might want to see if that was overturned.
He was sentenced to probation for 52 weeks.
I want to say she dropped everything and he was found guilty on something else, like a public menace or like it was something else. It was not the initial charge.
He was found guilty on assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Grace.
It was something that the girl, like whatever she could have like pressed, she was like, no, like on her behalf, she took things back. But I think once things are like to a certain level, there's still stuff the state has to press against you or something.
Oh yeah, the state can't just let you off the hook. They're going to get you with something.
I mean, that's one of the biggest fumble the bags we've seen.
Something did happen though, because they're bringing him back. That's why I could have sworn I read that. I'll have to read. It's going to take some researching for me to dig that up.
Yeah,
anyways,
whatever it was, it wasn't as bad as what they said. Yeah,
I don't think Ross died. That would have been really stupid. There's no way they would bring Red Hulk in for 5 minutes.
And you know who might have died would have been the other Falcon, the little Hispanic dude. What's his name?
Yeah, but then why was Liv Tyler going to be in that scene? That's the only reason why I was like,
maybe the eulogy was going to. Oh, could have been Isaiah Bradley.
Bradley, or maybe
I don't know why they would have done the funeral scene, to be honest.
Or it could have been a fake out that everybody thought he was dead, but Kang took him.
That would have been cool
to exploit Red Hulk later on, and they all thought that he was dead, so they're not keeping tabs on him. But I do not think they were going to kill him. I mean, they've been setting up Thunderbolt Ross with Red Hulk for literally 30 movies.
Yeah.
It's a shame we couldn't get. I'm sorry that the original actor died, but he would have been great in that. It would have been a nice payoff.
And I think, I mean, he didn't get his character didn't get his movie until after he died, which sucks.
Right.
My question is, do you think they would have recast him either way?
No, I think they would have kept him.
Not if you think so, because Harrison Ford was a big selling point of this movie. Do you think they would have still been like, yeah, our big actor is Anthony Mackie?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, he's well known, but he is not like a box office draw the same way as an A. Like Anthony Mackie is like top of the B, I think.
David, what if they would have brought back like Dakota Fanning for the secret agent part and made that the big talent?
What?
The agent Sabra. What if they had brought Dakota Fanning back instead of?
What do you mean back? She was never in it, was she?
She's never been.
No, she was never in it. No. No, but Dakota Fanning hasn't been in the limelight for several years now.
Oh, you're saying the actress should have been her? Okay, yes.
No, I'm saying how would he feel about that? No, it was a dumb joke. It was a dumb joke.
No.
Thank you.
But now that you bring it up,
thank you.
But now that you bring it up, the actress who played that, it was very controversial because there was somebody else in that role, and they got rid of them and hired a specific Israeli girl to do it. Mm-hmm. And with all the hate on Israel right now, some people were really upset about it. But I think
I wanted her to have the costume. Yeah, I wanted to see her with the costume. That would have been neat.
That might be later on.
That character
was actually a character, like an actual character from the comics, though.
She was a mutant.
Yeah,
she was a mutant. Yeah.
Just like
those haven't popped up yet, so that's coming.
It's crazy to me that the first mutant in the MCU is fucking Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
which Nolan doesn't know because he didn't watch the TV. So
of course he didn't, even though I told him to. He's like, "What do you know? You like She-Hulk?" That was his answer.
That's also it's also the Marvel's movie, not the TV show.
No, in the TV show, she was revealed to be a mutant.
Yeah.
Yes, that actress though. I really like that actress.
No, we're talking about young, little Miss Marvel.
Yes. Miss Marvel was revealed to be a mutant at the end of her series.
That's the very first. That's the first mention of mutants in the MCU.
I watched
Miss Marvel.
Half of that one.
She used to be an Inhuman, and because the Inhumans aren't a thing anymore, she's officially a mutant.
Mutants now. Yep, the old good old.
You call me crazy. I would like to see some of the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. brought in, like Daisy Johnson.
Quake I want Daisy Johnson. To be in it.
Yeah, she absolutely
and it still needs to be her. Same actress.
Yep. And that's a good payoff if they do that. They can say it was a branch timeline all they want. I just want her in that role.
All right, here's my question. Speaking of all that, do you guys think with Secret Wars are we going to get Coulson back?
I would hope so, but I don't know.
The LMD Coulson?
I think it's time to move on, to be honest with you.
No, I want to say, what do you mean move on? He's been gone for like a decade now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Look, the dude's like what in his 60s almost. Like, if you're talking about like the actual character, fine, but like you're talking about the actor too, move on.
Let's see, how old is Clark Gregg now? He's 62.
I just want to see how much money they're going to throw at this movie by the cast alone, because it's going to be expensive. Yeah,
and I think it'll be great.
Hopefully,
it better.
We'll see. It'll be good.
I will say with this movie, just overall, it was definitely interesting. It was, if they would have just pushed back the timeline by probably a couple months, they probably could have had like an early early late spring like box office hit if they would have been able to tighten up the script a little bit more, to be honest with you.
But they're not, because they know Thunderbolts is a better movie.
True.
That might be why it's back to back, because it's possible. Hey, we'll give them this sort of mediocre movie, and then a much better movie, and it'll seem even better. Because
I mean,
Thunderbolts
is going to introduce Norman Osborn. How can you beat that?
Well, it depends on who Norman Osborn is.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's actually kind of cool.
That's what the leak is supposed to be. That you're going to find out he's been behind like Val doing all this, and going back to Winter Soldier and Falcon. Remember how Sharon was working with somebody?
Yeah.
It's going to be.
I wonder if they're going to bring Hammer into this.
They might,
the opposite of Shield.
Only if Justin Hammer's still around.
Yeah, but also I'd
get a kick out of seeing Matthew McConaughey as Iron Patriot. It would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
And he would do it, but he would be such a good Green Goblin, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like he would be. But then again, that's going up against as Defoe.
I don't know, Defoe owned that. Yeah.
Think about it, Spider-Man.
Just because I think Matthew McConaughey can do the same level of unhinged. As Willem Dafoe, that I'd be like, I'd give him a shot. I'd be like, him against Tom Holland. I could see it.
I honestly want to see somebody do like the speech out with him and Spider-Man, just with the Matthew McConaughey accent of True Detective. Like, what are we doing here, Spider-Man? What's this all mean? You and I are not so different.
Okay, now I have to see that.
That would be amazing. And then just
Spider-Man.
That's how he transforms. That's how he turns into the Goblin.
Right. Well, no, because it's also one of those things. Like he's, I love Guy Ritchie movies, so he was fantastic though as like the villain in The Gentleman. Like he plays a really good like bad guy, like cool, calm, collected type of gangster person until he's not. You know what I mean?
What was the dragon?
He did well in Mud.
What movie was that one? The one where there was dragons everywhere. What was that one? Was it Dragon's
Rain of
Fire?
Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire.
Yeah.
That was a menacing thing he did. He pulled that one off pretty well.
I think it's also interesting. The other rumor is that in Daredevil we'll be introduced to Johnny Blaze, who of course is Ghost Rider eventually, and it's going to be played by Keanu Reeves.
That would be rather.
Do not play my emotions like that, David.
Do not.
That'd be another $1 billion movie. If you put him in it, that's another $1 billion movie. If they have a Ghost Rider and it's Keanu Reeves,
that's Keanu Reeves. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just at this point it works. He's gonna ride his motorcycle, his motorcycle, like his company's motorcycle. I'm sure.
Yep.
Apparently, they already started filming season 2 of Daredevil, so I think that's a good sign for what we're about to get. To be honest with you,
I don't think Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox would come back unless it was real good.
Unless it was good.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
I think both of them would be like, nah, we're okay. If it didn't live up to at least the one we've seen before, and then the Netflix one was amazing.
When the first trailer dropped for Born Again, I sent it to my buddy who I watched the Netflix series with, and he's like, "Wow, I didn't realize that they were cooking this season."
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm excited to do the watch along with that.
Hey, Nolan, did you know that Vincent is going to be at the El Paso Con?
Yes.
Okay, so we will get a chance to meet him. Keegan, we're gonna have to try to get you down to the con.
I've met both of them. They're very nice guys.
Well, I mean, just bring some of you guys down here if we can somehow.
All I know, Aaron,
any of y'all that want to go to it.
If we do get to meet him, I'm gonna bring him a jelly donut. So.
No, you have to bring him a glass of water with sugar.
Water, sugar. Watched that movie the other day too. Love that movie.
Yep.
He nails it so much in that movie. Like acting wise, that movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it took me so long to realize that was him.
It's because his face is all 90% of the movie.
Like watch that and then watch him in like Jurassic World and then him as Kingpin. That is 3 different people.
They're like 3 different people. Yeah.
None of those are the same actor.
Chameleon.
And Gomer
he was also in that. He was also in that. Wasn't it Special Victims Unit? Wasn't he on that?
Dun dun. Let's all come to court. Yeah. But no, yeah, it's one of those ones that I want to bring him a jelly donut. What the fuck is this? Yep.
I will say he's a nice guy and everything, but he's very kind of what you imagine. He's a very serious kind of gravitas kind of guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlie Cox is
acting points. Yeah. Nolan should ask him for acting advice.
For acting serious? Or
yeah, I mean, ask him because you've got the comedy part down.
Speaking of acting advice, have you guys ever seen? I don't remember what show it's a clip from, but they're talking to Ian McKellen, and he's asking him about.
I know where you're going with this.
And he's like, "How do you like when you were doing Gandalf? What was the act?" He's like, "Well, the secret is, I imagine that I am that character. That I am, and if I'm him, how would he react? And then that's how I react." And they're like, "You're just describing acting." But he acts like it's this big secret that he's like letting him in on what he does. Like, that's my process. Like,
I love that.
But no, it was a good movie. I mean, entertaining popcorn movie, way better movie than any of the other ones that Keegan has tried to force us to watch.
Yes, so, this was like 15 times better than The Crow.
And
Speaking of which, I did you guys think of that last
2 times better than Craven or whatever.
Oh Jesus! I bet Keegan hasn't even seen Craven yet, even though he was all up on its nuts.
I actually haven't watched that either. I wanted to watch that though.
On those,
Keegan was doing everything except this guy off. He was so.
I'll wait for it to be on Netflix. Movie. I'll wait for it to be on Netflix and I'll watch it once.
Like he wanted hardcore for us to do. He was like, God, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I got reading material. I got reading material. We got.
There's a book. There's guys, Craven. And then we had to put a vote to it, and nobody wanted Craven.
Yeah, we're all like,
it got votes. It got.
Oh, poor Keegan.
It got what? 3 votes.
Yeah.
Look, it got,
Sorry, man.
Got as much attention as adamantium in this movie.
Yeah, barely mentioned. Yes.
I love that last news clip scene where it was like just trying to tease the hell out of adamantium. Where they're like, there is more to come with adamantium. See what we discover next. It was like, I get it, but we're not seeing the X-Men for at least another 7 years. It feels that way.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, no, it's one of those ones that they're tying stuff into the X-Men. But
it may be sooner than you think, Grayson.
It better be, because if it's another 7 years till we get to see anything
again, this might be
probably at least 5.
This is probably another rumor, but I have heard there's a possibility that we do see Wolverine in Thunderbolts.
Let's go.
Too soon.
Which one?
Hashtag too soon.
I mean, if we get a Cavalry, I'll be.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that's who it's going to be.
I would lose it if Deadpool opened up a closet and the two walked out and he's like, "Well, I know the Thunderbolts are around here somewhere," and then he closes it and leaves. That would be funny.
Yeah, but I've heard, but he may be one of the people they try to like get on their team, and doesn't do it or whatever.
It tells them to go F themselves.
But I think it's I think the leaks are probably very true that the end of Thunderbolts, because a lot of people are going to die. But the ones that survive and trying to put the team back together at the end of the movie, they go to the Punisher.
Nice.
Is it?
I wonder who
Barenthal is going to be doing
it is. He's in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Okay,
good.
Cool. Yeah. Well, shit, even better. Because I do like his. I
want Kirsten Renner back as well. At some
I don't know if they really have a place for Jessica Jones though.
Yeah.
Not yet, but it's the same thing as like where I want Quake. I want her back too, at least mentioned or something. But that's
Quake has way more
fans.
Quake has way more story potential though than Jessica Jones, who was just kind of there.
Yep,
that checks.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Jessica Jones again.
Yeah,
just like I don't think we're gonna get Iron Fist again, or
that's because they portrayed him so terribly. If they do Iron Fist, they need to do him properly.
No, I heard we're supposed to get Iron Fist, but I think it's recast.
I mean, it would have to be because people hated that it was a white blonde guy.
Well, Danny Rand is a white blonde guy, but
it's literally from the comics. But yeah, I get.
He didn't work out very well though.
But the actor they had wasn't great, and he wasn't trained. Like
I was get an actual martial artist that can act is probably easier than just getting an actor and then trying to turn him into a martial artist.
Right.
I did like the Defenders though when they were all together.
When they were all together, it was cool because you also got like them kind of fighting people together. And
I saw an interview where Kristen Ritter said they were the Netflix Avengers, which I thought was hilarious.
And I liked that Sigourney Weaver was like the bad guy. That was cool.
But she was wasted. They let her get killed off too early.
Well, that's because I think they thought that they were never going to do any more after that season.
After that,
that was the end of the Netflix shows because it kind of was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But
I think at the time all they had left planned for the Netflix shows was the next season of Daredevil, because Daredevil season 3 picks up right where Defenders leaves off.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Daredevil was the best show of them all.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like out of those,
I didn't
think Luke Cage was bad. I thought that was fine.
You know what? I was gonna say I actually liked Luke Cage too. Like Luke Cage.
Yeah,
Luke
unfortunately,
Cage is also
I don't think
he's going to be at the con this year too.
I don't think Mike Coulter's coming back either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly with how they handled that, they burned too many bridges. But
I did love him. I don't know if you guys saw the show Evil that he was in. That's
yes,
I've seen
that.
He
That's pretty good.
kills
Really
it
good
in that. It is such a good show. I wish that wouldn't have gotten canceled.
Well, he's going to be at the con. We should ask him some questions.
You know who I really wish would like somehow make a.
Let us know what you want us to ask him.
Like would pop in and make like an appearance as a character or something, just because I think he's such a fantastic actor. But and I don't know who he would play, but Sterling K. Brown. I think that dude would play some character, just knock it out of the park. I don't know what character, but some character, I think. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about, but
I mean, honestly, he could be a really good replacement if they choose to move on from Jonathan Majors as Kang, in my opinion. I think he could be really good at that.
You know what? Now that you say that, he would play a fantastic Kang. Mostly because that dude has range, man. He's funny, he's serious. He's like menacing, like
I could have sworn wasn't he already in Black Panther?
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
No, wait, yeah, he was. He was his uncle that got killed in the 90s. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
They're not going to bring him back to be Kang.
That's tough.
But he was good. He was good in that role,
dude.
But yeah, that's exactly.
So Nolan, you got your wish. He showed up as a random character. There you go. You got it.
Yeah, you're right. Shit. Wish fulfilled already. I just wish he would have had a bigger role.
See, now you're asking for another wish. Okay, you already got it. You should have specified.
Well, you know what? You know the first wish is always for 99 more wishes. Okay, so
you only got one wish though, and you wasted it.
Was none of them for height at all?
No. If I were taller, Aaron, it wouldn't be fair to everybody else. Yeah.
No one would be intolerable if he was like 6'3".
Oh my God! You have no idea. You guys would not like me. No one would like me. I wouldn't even like me. Yeah.
Who says we like you now?
We like you now.
Yeah. I was like, and you guys barely like me now. So it would be even
worse.
One.
After everything after Battle Worlds kind of comes to fruition, since the Mahershala Ali Blade's just never going to happen, I think if they do recasting, I think Sterling K. Brown could do a pretty good Blade.
He's already the uncle. They're not going to do it.
Dude, with how much they're going to bring back, I have a feeling they're going to be a little liberal with.
He's
how
also
they
too. No,
I don't. Wesley Snipes would make a great Whistler. Don't you think?
No, I definitely don't think they're going to touch Blade.
I think no. Ali is still going to be Blade, and it's still going to happen. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to happen.
I just kind of hope that they do it right.
I don't think so.
It's tied too much into what they want to do coming up with all the magic stuff with Ghost Rider is one. They want to bring back Scarlet Witch, and the fact that Agatha did so well, they want to lean more into the supernatural. Blade's a huge
they're going
part
for Midnight Suns?
They are doing a Midnight Suns. But the thing is, the only thing they've changed is they're probably going to do Midnight Suns now before Blade. Before it was going to be the other way around. Yeah. Now they're going to do the team up movie first and then have Blade spin off of that.
Well, because
I think that'd be a good intro for Blade, to be honest with you.
That might be better.
I don't know when they're going to have Moon Knight pop up again, but
he'll be in Midnight Suns.
And that's what I was saying. I was like, I thought they were going to do that with him.
But yeah, he's definitely
pretty good
because they haven't explored the third. They haven't done the third personality almost at all.
No,
they're gonna. They've supposedly it is going to be a season 2, and you will see Moon Knight in Secret Wars and all that. He will be involved.
And if they make the Midnight Suns villain Dracula, that'd be sick.
Is Black Knight is supposed to come back too?
At least Black Knight might get dropped.
Black Knight.
Of all the one shots
of him coming back, possibly. You know,
yeah. Of all the one shots, I love that monster one.
If any of the characters get dropped, Black Knight's one of the first ones on the chopping block. Unfortunately,
yeah.
I personally loved Werewolf by Night. That was pretty damn good.
So supposedly they are going to eventually do more with Man Thing or whatever. And both of them, and Isla Bloodstone, who is the girl.
That could work.
Yeah,
that could
supposedly all of them are going to be involved. I think it's going to be like a battle world or something. And at the end of Secret Wars, when everything finally comes back together, I think they'll be put into the regular continuity because theirs was kind of in the past that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
God, could you imagine a whole like movie set in battle world that's based off like the old horror movies like that? With like the vampires and monsters and stuff, and it's all like black and white throughout the whole thing.
Who doesn't want to see Wolverine versus Dracula?
That would be interesting.
I had that comic book.
We had that. It's called Van Helsing. Yeah.
No, well, Oh, I hate you so much.
Nailed it. Love me some Kate Beckinsale. Moving on.
So apparently Brown is younger than Ollie.
Okay. If you're talking about replacements, though, there was one I wanted to touch on that people are probably going to hate me for this one, but I thought for T'Challa, who would have been a good actor to replace him was the guy that used to be on the Good Place.
Oh, Chidi?
He was also in, yeah.
That would actually, if he wouldn't have been in Quantumania, I would say yes.
Yes,
but he was already.
But he was in Quantumania, yeah. I think he would have been perfect. So missed opportunity there.
There was talks for a while before it was revealed that he was Quantumania, just that he was talking to Marvel. A lot of people wanted him to be Reed Richards.
Oh, that would have worked too.
And I was like, you know what? I could see it.
Yeah. But he would also, I mean, he's already a mind reader. Maybe he's Professor X and we just don't know about it yet.
If he was a little older,
I don't know.
I could see it.
Yeah, but
I'm interested.
We'll see how that plays out.
Do you guys think that once the X-Men come into it, is Magneto still going to be a survivor of the Holocaust? Or do we think that's too far gone now that it'll be something else like apartheid or something that?
As long as they don't throw Ukraine into it. If they say it's Ukraine, I'm be like, come on.
Ukraine's too recent. It would have to still be something like pretty far back because he's still going to be older, I think. But I just wonder
if you have him as an actual concentration camp survivor, you can just pull a cap on him and have him frozen for a while and then coming out. That would still work, but I think that's a deep cut.
At this point, they kind of just need to move the character up along with the timeline as they always do. So
I just wonder what would be the thing in his past that would symbolize the same.
It's hard because that one's pretty specific.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything equivalent that would work.
Like what atrocity is on the level of the Holocaust?
There's not very many, if at all, any.
And that's a good thing. I'm glad that there wasn't. But
glad we don't have a lot of examples here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pick when they rounded up humans in this year or this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Captain America: Brave New World. Final thoughts.
Kind of getting off the. No, I thought it was again. I'd give it the same thing, David. About 6.5, man. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Realistically, it was fun. The action was awesome. I did like the action. The fight scenes were pretty cool. Whether the shield actually obeys the laws of physics or not, still pretty solid. I don't know about you guys, but I did kind of like the little Falcon sidekick guy. I thought he was kind of funny from time to time. I could see how some people would find him to be like annoying, or kind of just like like, man, this guy is too much of a, like he's a little too much of a jokester. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I could kind of see that, but like overall, it was one of those things that I was like, if I'm being honest, that's me. That's my type of character. So I personally, I liked him.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see that.
Yeah, maybe pull off a little bit on the jokes. You know what I mean? Like he's
Falcon Sky Rizzy.
Yeah. The Falcon Sky Rizzy. That's the guy.
Yeah, it's a little close to home for you, Nolan. I get it.
It is, yeah. So, but it is one of those ones like I actually didn't mind him all that much, and not because I am that type of character all the time, but I like their dynamic. How he is, he's essentially the plucky little brother that just wants to go. You know what I mean? That just wants to hang out. I want to be a hero too.
His little ask for, hey, can Wakanda hook me up? That's funny. I like that line where he did that.
You think Wakanda on speed dial? Is that? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Like,
I will say I thought it was so much bullshit when he's like, growing up, and I was like, you were the one I looked up to. And I was like, you had bad taste out of all these heroes.
Yeah.
And even if you were going for somebody without powers, you're like, I could do that. I would pick Hawkeye over Falcon any day.
That, or if I'm being honest, I'd probably pick Black Widow first.
Yeah, because they at least had like talents.
Because
all of Falcon's was in his suit. Hawkeye at least like has almost supernatural like aiming. Like he even mentions like, playing golf when you go 18 for 18, it kind of takes the thrill out of it. Like he's got
played 18, shot 18. Yep.
And then Black Widow.
I loved his series.
Like, come on.
I thought his series was really good. And I
liked can't wait for the second season of that. Like the second
season. I enjoyed
it,
but I enjoyed it mostly because I really liked what's her face, Haley Steinfeld's character.
Bishop.
Yeah, I liked Kate Bishop, and then like the inclusion of Yelena in there made it kind of
her and Yelena are such a good. They're just like Falcon and Winter Soldier and like the chemistry.
Yeah,
chemistry's great.
I'd watch hours of them together.
Why do you keep saying my full name? Is it because you want me to know that you know my full name? Yes, Kate Bishop. Yeah, that's like that shit is just. It's fantastic. My dad says
when she did that spin, she's like, "Did you plan that? Yes, no."
Yeah,
they had a really good camaraderie, which I loved.
Their chemistry was great, so I really did enjoy that. So,
which I think is really cool because as the eventual replacements, basically of Black Widow and Hawkeye, who had a special connection,
right?
These two have their own
specials,
kind of special connection. So I think it'll be great.
Yeah, they're beating each other up, and she's like, "Stop making me like you." You know.
Yeah. No, I definitely enjoyed that. So like as far as like the mantle kind of thing, right? Of like you're like, okay, well this is the Lady Hawkeye or whatever, or Lady Arrow or whatever her name is.
Lady Hawk was pretty funny when she said that. I was like, "Fucking hey, that's it. Do that one."
Lady Hawk, yeah. So like I'm not too mad about that one, kind of like replacing Clint or whatever, right? But I do like that little connection that they have. That it is like it's like a sisterly connection, but also it works.
Yeah, it's like he's training his little sister.
Right. And then it was on top of that, it's one of those ones like Clinton, like Tasha,
it was believable.
They definitely have like a brother sister kind of thing, like the way they talk to each other, like it was very, very much like a sibling kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like for both of them to have that kind of same like dynamic almost, it was pretty cool.
All right. Well, I think we should just go around, have everybody give their scores. You can if you want to. You don't really need to go into a long explanation. I think we've talked about every aspect pretty much. Unless Keegan wants to talk more about the reshoots that he mentioned.
Right.
I mean, I thought some of the scenes that were reshot were pretty noticeable,
but none of them were as bad as the Henry Cavill mustache.
No.
I got some Justice League vibes from
that's
this
still that's still top 3 right there though.
I honestly thought the Hulk fight was going to end with his daughter running out.
I thought so too. I thought she was going to show up and turn him back the same way that Natasha did But it was
honestly,
kind of
I thought that would have worked better. I would have been okay with it
instead of just look at the petals.
Yeah, because he's been fighting in the petals. It didn't matter then. Like, why does it matter now?
Yeah, like he's about to do like a final blow, and then she's like, "Dad," and like comes running down the street.
Right.
1000% would have been more satisfactory. And then
it would have
he's arrested and gives up and then goes to prison, she still visits him. And it's like, hey, he's in jail, but he got back what really mattered.
And now he understands, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing.
Plus I feel like it would have also forged their connection that she believes he cares about her if he turned back from the Hulk for her.
Yeah.
That she is, we know that he did.
Right.
But for her to see it,
a little
to show that she's the one that calms, So I think that should have 1000% been
because that was the whole theme through the movie, right? Is like I'm trying to show her that I'm not the person that she thinks I am, and it's like that right there would have wrap it up, nice little bow on the end right there of having her do that, like show up and be the one that back.
Now
it has changed a little bit.
Now you know that we just really want a Red Hulk versus the Hulk fight eventually.
Oh, duh! Come on.
Gotta have it.
Most of these characters would have done really well if the Hulk had appeared anywhere in the film. And I know at some point he was in it. Like they had him scripted in one of them.
You would think again when he didn't call Bucky about like mind control. You would think when they found out Gamma had anything to do, they'd be like, let's maybe call Bruce.
Let's see what Bruce is doing. Let's give him a call real quick.
Bruce and his son. Yeah, there's 2 Hulks we could have called.
Right.
I don't know. I think that might actually be a non-thing now.
Yeah.
Well, I know who was the kid from Afterlife.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho got cut out of the movie.
Yeah, because he was gonna be one of the other. Yeah,
he was gonna. Yeah, well, they weren't gonna become a Hulk yet, but he was gonna be introduced. Yeah, because the woman who made Vision, that's his mom.
Interesting.
Oh, and in the process of this all happening in the script, originally, Falcon was gonna go to Stark Industries for help, and they were gonna like name drop like Pepper Potts still there and stuff, but who was helping him was going to be Amadeus Cho, who canonically is the 7th most intelligent person in the world.
Right. He follows right behind.
I love how they're getting
big brainiacs for the most part.
Yeah, and through his like research with Gamma and stuff, he eventually becomes totally awesome Hulk, which it's a lot like the Hulk we have now, where he's like in charge of himself, like still super smart, but the Hulk. He was going to figure out a more refined version of that and become a Hulk version himself, but he was still like super smart.
They usually refer to him as Professor Hulk in that form, the smart form. I thought they were. I thought there was like a little bit of a teaser, like when they're in the bunker. There, like when he's like looking around, like on the walls or whatever. But it was one of those ones that like they were just, you know, agents and ID cards or whatever that he had like all around the room. But it was one of those ones like when he walks in there, I saw like one of the ones that you see, like the first ones that you see like on the wall was, well, it looked like an Asian dude, and I was like, is this a spoiler? Like a not a spoiler, but like a little Easter egg. And then I was like, then they kind of like showed more like around the room of just all these people, and I was like, oh, never mind, that's just some random, you know, sleeper agent or whatever guy picture. But I was like, damn, maybe they got Cho in there. Guess not. So
yeah, and I was gonna say too, Tim Blake Nelson as the leader, I thought did really good. Most of his scenes I know were reshots as well, because we have what he originally looked like in merch. Like you can go buy merch and he looks completely different.
Does he look better or worse?
Version. I like he looked better, I think.
He looks more like comic leader in the original version.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was like it.
But he just looked like he was having fun. I mean, I think that comes through a lot. I mean, he was just chewing the scenery. I think Mackie has charisma. I think he can do it. One of the things that kind of got me too was like people were like, he's just a guy in a suit. I'm like, isn't that what Iron Man was? Like, he didn't have superpowers. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I know Stark was like making everything.
I was gonna say the only difference was that Iron Man made his suit, and Falcon they just kind of gave him his. You know, hey, we have this experimental technology. You want to give it a shot? Want to fly that around for a little bit?
It's the equivalent of stealing a Humvee from a depot storage.
Yeah, for the most part,
because that was an Army developed thing.
He was Air Force, but kind of either way,
or Air Force.
But no, it's I want to say this before we get too far away from it, because it was, you know, the whole calming the Hulk down. I'm super sad that I didn't hear Mackie say, you know, the sun's getting real low, big guy. Like, just you know what I mean? Because he's there and he knows how to like calm him down. But like, it's even funnier because like Deadpool, of course, breaks the fourth wall with that in the second movie when he's fighting the Juggernaut or whatever the first time. Yeah. But it's just one of the, I thought that would have been hilarious for him to at least try. There's, you know, sun's getting real low, big guy. Nope. Okay. Didn't like that. Cool. I'm going to go back to getting my ass kicked by Red Hulk or whatever.
Yeah. See, I find it so unbelievable that a Hulk shows up and he wouldn't call anybody.
Like, I need some help. Yeah.
Not only that, maybe he doesn't call anyone, but no one, like Bruce Banner's not watching the TV and he's like, hey, maybe I should go help.
Maybe we should go help him out. Yeah.
Like, or Bucky, who's there in DC.
Right.
Honestly, I thought at some point you just see like a jet fly in and then all of a sudden drops in Bucky. I thought that would be what happens after they do that little inclusion at the very end. But no, that was too good for that script, I guess. But
yeah, because you would think after everything that happened, Bucky probably would have been at that presidential like address in the garden.
Yep.
Mm. I will say the one thing, despite everything that went wrong with the fight scene, I do like the fact that when he actually like tried to knock him out, he's like, "Please tell me I knocked that son of a bitch out."
Right.
I was like, "Is he gonna go for the knockout and try to knock him out?" When he actually did, I'm like, "Okay, that was a deep cut from comic lore. Let's go for that." But you know, that's my little nugget of stuff right there. So you're welcome.
Yeah, it's a solid 6 in my opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
It's way better than Eternals. It's way better than Marvels. So that's not so bad.
I wouldn't say way better than the Marvels. I would say it's about on par, because the Marvels.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
I think I was more entertained during the Marvels.
This is definitely the best that we've gotten from Marvel since Deadpool and Wolverine. Besides that, I should say.
Yeah, that's a high mark though.
That's the only thing we've gotten since Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which is, so my statement still stands. So,
no, I would say, considering that I went through like 5 major reshoots, it held together a lot better than I thought it was going to be. There were definitely scenes where I felt like it was dragging. I was like, okay, let's, even for a short movie, I
like
felt...
that's why I say that I think the Marvels entertain me more, because when I watched that, I didn't want to.
That actually has this, yeah.
True.
Whereas this
the other one was disjointed.
I was checking my phone quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It felt disjointed at certain places.
Yeah, because characters were also saying the same thing twice, and again, that's probably just reshoots. But they were like explaining things to like Sam twice, and you're like,
I mean,
why
let's be honest. They did 5 rounds of reshoots. They knew this was not a masterpiece.
No, of course not.
Well, yeah. That's why they put it in February. They don't have a ton of competition. They're like, just put it out there. It'll be fine.
Like,
again,
it's fine, but it's mid. It's very mid-level.
Yeah.
It was a filler to get us to the next actual good movies.
Yeah, I'd say a 6.
We pulled into work driving in a hoopty. Just got here and it was lucky too.
Yep. Yeah, it really does raise the bar for Thunderbolts, though. It really does, I think.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, like I said, I'm more excited for that one than this one. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it serves its purpose, right? Of kind of trying to set things up and get the future rolling or whatever for what they're going to do. So that's why
Nick,
I think.
What do you give it, Nick?
With reshirts, and we're like, yep, good enough. So, what happened, Dave?
Nick, what do you give it? We can't hear you.
You're muted.
I barely got to speak at all tonight, so I gave it probably like 6.5. The only thing, also, like going off of the whole reshoots, the only scene that really that glaringly stuck out to me was that scene at the very end where he's like, well, trying to confront Red Hulk and he's trying to calm him down, because that looks very much like a lower quality to for the picture than the rest of the film did, and it wasn't a great film, but it wasn't a terrible film. It was. I do agree with Aaron there that it was better than the Marvels and it was better than Eternals. I still think my least favorite Marvel film ever is Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of glaring things, I think we do need to mention. It looks like the beard is gone, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised. No, I tried mentioning that like an hour and a half ago, but like nobody was listening. Nobody was letting me speak. So I was like, I'll just let this play out right now. Yeah,
you used to look like a guy that was like an Alaskan boat fisherman.
I have pictures.
I have pictures here. Yeah.
And now you look like a guy who picks up his kid after preschool.
Yeah. There's the beard. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Here's the beard before. That's the beard before.
You went from Mountain Man to Mimosa Man.
I went from like I keep a gun in my basement and I don't want the government talking to me to very much like I'm gonna go to the office 5 days out of the week now.
Do your TPS reports? Yeah.
You went from Captain America 2 to Captain America 4.
I don't like that. I don't like that comparison.
That's what phrase.
You've been shitting on Captain America all night long, so you're shitting on me now. I don't like that comparison one bit.
Oh, but Nick, for you, it's a compliment. Come on now.
You definitely look a lot younger.
Grayson, I don't like that either. What the hell? No, Nick, but for you, comparing yourself to something crappy is a compliment. So good job, Nick.
But no, it does look good.
Thank you. I miss the long beard. I really liked the long beard, but
hey, it'll grow back.
It'll grow back for sure.
I'm trying to grow out a little bit, but everybody's got epic beards around me. I've got nothing. So I decided
to be fair, my beard that length probably took me about 2.5 years.
Oof. And then you decided you didn't want to be single anymore?
I mean, I've always not wanted to be single, but it's just a matter of not, being adverse to whatever.
Conversations.
It's not like shaving. It's not like shaving my beard automatically gained me a girlfriend. Okay, there's still work to be done.
Must be doing it wrong.
But at least on online profiles now, they're not going to think that you're definitely taking them to the basement. It's more.
What's funny? I actually checked all my. I checked. The only one I haven't checked. I checked my Facebook. I checked my Facebook dating and my Tinder, and in the pictures I use there, my beard was only like semi-long, so it wasn't super long to where it was scraggly. It was like a decent length.
Semi-long.
Good to know. So Keegan, what's your final score?
My final score, 6. I don't think it's changed a lot. There's definitely a lot more, at least since I told you or our Discord, whatever. My rating hasn't changed. There's definitely more things I've noticed in it, but overall, I still enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever gone to see. I at least didn't hate myself walking out. I know there was a couple people that walked out, but there were some laughs too. Like when Bucky showed up, people were laughing at some of the dialogue between the two. So we'll see what it does. I think it's kind of what we expected as far as the movie quality. But overall, I do think it was better than it had the right to be, considering they had to splice like 5 different films together.
And I will say, in all fairness, it looks like the reviews are not stopping the money. Like it still did pretty decently, I believe.
I just saw the review. I just saw like a change in reviews. Like critics are giving it like 40 to 60%, and fans have given it like 80.
And
It's better than it was supposed to be. Yeah,
and that's
5 minutes alone too.
That's him carrying it. Anthony Mackie carrying that film on his back, really, because everybody likes him.
I don't think so.
I think it's him and Harrison Ford. Like Harrison Ford.
Well, Harrison Ford is a big draw. Yeah, I got to factor that in. Yeah.
Well, I will say the only 5 minutes of Bucky being on screen, they had more chemistry together than Joaquin and Anthony Mackie did in any way. Like you could tell that it was all forced, and the dialogue was super stilted the entire time until Bucky showed up.
So it looks like they got about $100 million in the United States for the weekend, compared to the Marvels, which made $46 million on its first weekend.
See. Well, and that's also compared. That's also going to compare it to like Borderlands that only made 30 million.
I think it made 30 million, and it's like its whole run.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it made like 4 million or something really bad.
Well, no, yeah, its whole run it made 30 million, which was the marketing budget, not even the budget for the film.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong.
At an estimated 192.4 million globally so they're almost at the 200 million. It's not Marvel money yet,
good.
But it's still decent.
Yeah. I mean, it's not break even money though either.
Yeah. It's very close to break even already.
No, because with
50% goes to the theaters.
Yeah, with original reshoots too. Or originally they were saying it was around 200 before, plus then they started reshooting, and now all of a sudden it's 180. It's probably more closer to 350. And plus, you got to think marketing's been almost 2 years of marketing for this movie.
Quantumania opened to 227 million globally.
I did like that movie though. I liked Quantumania.
I thought Quantumania was great. A lot of people give it shit, but I loved it. I like Paul Rudd.
I thought it had way too much going on. It wasn't a bad movie by any means. I just thought it was way too busy.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, so 6.5 for me, 6 for David. Aaron, I think you said 6 as well.
Yep.
Sky Rizzy, Last Avenger, Sky Rizzy, you gave it a 6.
6, yep.
Grayson, 6. Or have you not given your rating yet? I think it's Keegan.
I haven't given my rating yet, but
Keegan said 6. Keegan said 6. Okay. Who farted? Who farted?
I heard a barking.
Grayson, that was you. I heard it.
That's just how I rate this movie. I'm going to be honest with you.
Your brown eye. Your brown eye is saying hello.
Look, I'm being honest. I have to express how I feel. That's how I feel. No, that wasn't me, but I will say it pretty much sums up my feelings on it. I'm going to give it a 6. Overall fight choreography, the actual fight scenes of this movie, top tier. Loved it. It's entertaining. Kind of keeps your attention. The story suffers from, you can just tell where they had to rewrite everything. The story does not flow. It doesn't fit. It's a jigsaw, just horribly stitched together movie that they cobbled together just to try to make some money back on it because it was too far down the river. So you can definitely feel that going through the movie. But for the most part, if you can turn your brain off and enjoy just seeing fight scenes here and there, a little dumb, comic book MacGuffin plot device stuff, it's an enjoyable movie. I can't hate on it too much. I had a good enough time with it, so I'm going to give it a 6.
I'm curious why they felt the need to make this movie.
Well, I think the series gave them a lot of hope because it did really well. And so they're like, we can make a movie. But I feel like that series probably just should have been the movie.
I mean, the biggest thing that I think this did...
I would have seen that. I would have paid for seeing
that. For the continuity of the movies. Like, it was great to see the leader addressed. It was great to see, Red Hulk. But none of those feel like they were essential to the overall story. I feel like the biggest essential to the story thing was adamantium.
And I mean, in all honesty, they could have just continued the series along with, just
this could have easily could have been season 2 of that.
Absolutely. And then they could have made this a Hulk story, but I know the issues with Universal, blah, blah, blah. But they could have at least made, put in an effort to make like this focused on Captain America, but have Hulk in there if they're going to have the leader in there. You know what I mean?
And Red Hulk.
Plus, and Red Hulk. Yeah. I mean, it should have been more, because this is the company that prides itself on having just a coercive, cooperative universe. They should have been able to at least move some stuff around with Universal being like, hey, can we just do this for one movie? We want it for like 20 minutes of screen time.
I think,
and worked around that.
No, they could have had him in it. It wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah. I think as long as it's not named a Hulk movie, they can have him in there. So as long as
it's not a solo film,
I'm not positive. I think they have the rights back now for even Solo if they want to do it. I think it's a recent development of the past couple of years.
I still think they have to go through, but I think they're on better terms, Universal, on that.
I wonder if they had the distribution rights instead.
But I know at one point he was going to be in the film. There was going to be multiple Hulks, and then they wrote that out. The Serpent Society was going to be bigger, had like Seth Rollins, a couple other characters got written out. It's just, you can feel some of that. You can see it in how they film the actors too, and the blocking. It's very back and forth, which is very jarring when the rest of the movie isn't.
Yeah, you could definitely feel where like they tried to. It felt like a lot of this was filmed in like somebody's backyard, kind of. I mean, that vibe of just forcing in new scripts that were just like freshly printed out that morning was definitely a pretty strong feeling this entire movie.
Well, the leader killing the army guy, that wasn't supposed to be in it because that was supposed to be what's his face, the other Hulk guy, and that's how he kind of got the powers because like he goes to kill him and then the serum like seeps into him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not the worst thing, but it's very much what it is. It's hard to make a movie out of 5 different movies, and I think they did a good job. It's definitely better than it had the right to be for being that. So whoever was like stitching it together, I thought did well. I don't know who that was, but kudos to you.
Okay, so Brave New World earned 192, like we said. Deadline claims it needs to reach 425 to break even. So it's about halfway.
It might make it.
I think those numbers are low, though.
I like the fact that the studio.
Do you know more than the journalists?
Well, because a couple months ago they were saying each reshoot was almost 150 million.
I doubt it. There's no. That's the budget of more.
That's why they were. Yeah, that's why they were worried because they're like, it's gonna have to hit
much money in this. I think they would have canceled it at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's really that much money, there's no way they would have canned it before it got to actual release.
It might have been all the reshoots together. Might have been an extra 100 million. I'd believe that. But that each one for 5 times, there's literally no way they spent over. That's over $500 million.
No, that would bankrupt them.
Well, I think there's a reason why they pushed this one through. It's because it cost too much money.
But there's no way it was that much. You must have read it wrong because that's no way.
No, I've heard that number counted out before, but I also think that it was not that expensive. If they're going to push it as much as they can, they're also factoring in all the DVD sales and all that jazz. So, I mean, they're going to make their money back
anymore.
Well, Blu-rays. I mean,
I think it's more about merchandise like
digital.
toys.
It was
digital.
It was
also.
It actually cost them $380 million.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So then the marketing budget on top of that takes it to the 425. So that makes sense.
That might be actually accurate then.
Yeah, but it's not an extra.
Marketing eats up a big chunk of it.
Right, but he was trying to say that it was an extra 100 to 150 million every reshoot, which was 5. So that would have, there's no way they'd spend that much on one movie, not this one.
I don't know. You never can tell. I'd like to have a budget. That'd be nice.
You do.
What do you think, Nolan?
$20 that Nolan lets you borrow.
Dude.
It's $20 that Nolan lets you borrow.
We would love an extra $20.
That's your budget.
You don't know how much that would actually freaking help.
That's your budget. I'm gonna take a $20 bill, pin it to your collar, and wish you the best of luck.
Right.
Every little bit counts.
Alrighty. So what's the next thing? What's the next thing, Keegan?
Next thing for what?
You want to meet together for Thunderbolts?
Well, I mean, yeah. Like, what's the next thing? Because we have this done. We all just gave our ratings. What's the next
movie? What's the next pop culture talk?
Well, if you guys want to know what we're doing next as far as the viewers, we'll be obviously finishing up our Goosebumps deep dive, and then we'll be going over to the Society main characters to be talking Daredevil, starting here pretty soon.
In March, right?
Yeah, I think
is that going to be a Society? Is that going to be a Society of main characters, or is that going to be just pop culture?
No, it's over there. Most of the pop culture is moving over there. Even this.
Oh, gotcha.
As far as if you guys want to join us early March, we'll be doing Nolan's recommendation of Project Hail Mary for our book club.
It's going to be a good
one. We're excited to talk about. And then for next pop culture chat, we're doing The Electric State, Netflix film.
Oh, I want to see that one. I've been looking forward to that one.
So that'll be our March film. But like I said, we will be doing Daredevil and stuff. And hey, if you guys want to come talk with us and discuss Captain America, Brave New World, come join our Discord and you can chat with us there as well. We'll link it in the description below, as well as everyone here. I will put their links to all their projects below. But until next time, guys, let us know what you thought of the movie and give us your rankings for the Captain America series in the comments below.
And then